First and foremost, we praise the Most High, Ahaya, Bahashem Yeshaya. Like YAHSHALLA say amen.
Amen.
Amen. And we're going to go into remarriage. A lot of times people read the verses that the Most High God gave us on marriage, but they don't really understand them. Sometimes they get half understanding, but they don't really understand the holiness that has to be when it comes to marriage. Everything still has to be holy, even remarriage. There has to be holiness in remarriage, okay? Mm-hmm. So we're going to go into that so we can show and prove through precept that even though there may be a remarriage, that it has to be holy, all right? And we're going to show when you can remarry, all right? Mm-hmm. All right. So let's go to Genesis 2 and 23.
And it says, "And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh."
Okay, so now the scriptures just taught us, whenever a man leaves his mother and his father and cleaves to his wife or cleaves to his woman, that's marriage. You understand? That's marriage. And the Most High God resides over a real, true marriage. Read that one more time.
It says, "And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed." Notice it said the man and his wife. You see that? So the first portion had to commence.
The scriptures say, for this purpose, a man shall leave his father and his mother and cleave to his wife. When that happens, the first time, it's done. That's marriage. You understand? Now, whenever you fall under that, or whenever you do that, then you fall under a law. You understand? And we're going to show what that is. Let's go to Deuteronomy 24 and go to verse 1. Start at verse 1. Okay. So we're going to show the first law. Well, that was the first ceremonial law on marriage. But now we're going to show the first law that was given to Moshe, or the first law that Moshe gave to us concerning marriage and remarriage and divorce and things like that. Go ahead.
Okay. And it says, "When a man hath taken a wife and married her."
So when a man hath taken a wife and married her. So when a man has done what the book of Genesis just said, keep going.
"And it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanliness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement."
Okay, so the Torah says that when a man have taken a wife, and he finds something unclean in her, right? So this can be when this law was first implemented or instituted. This could have been anything. This could have been, he didn't like the way she looked. He didn't like the way she smelled. He didn't like the way she cooked. It could be anything. It could be anything. It says any uncleanness in her. Go ahead.
"Then let him write her a bill of divorcement."
Then let him write her a bill of divorcement. So that shows, all right, everything has to be done decently and in order, even divorce, okay? Read that one more time.
It says, "When a man hath taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she found no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanliness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, and give it to her in her hand, and send her out of his house."
So at this time, during this time in Hebraic history, we as men, if we found any ill favor towards our wives or anything unclean or anything at all that we did not like, we could write our wives a bill of divorcement and send her out of our homes. Okay? All right? That's at this time. Now, let's go to Matthew 19 real quick.
Okay.
So we're just going to show what the Mashiach said. And as a matter of fact, before you go there, go to Devarim 18 just real quick. Quick. Because we're going to show that we have to hear Yeshua in all things. Go to Deuteronomy 18 and 15.
Okay. And it says, the Most High thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren.
Right.
Like unto me, unto him ye shall hearken.
You see that? So Ahiah said that he would raise up a prophet out of the midst of Israel, and unto him we should hearken. Right? Absolutely. So not only do we hearken unto him, we hear him in all things. That's what the Torah says. Go to Matthew 19 and 3.
Okay. And it says, the Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? Okay,
so the reason why the Pharisaical priest, or at least those Pharisaical priests, came to Yeshua and asked him, was it lawful to put away their wives for every cause, is because of the law that's in the Torah, right? The law on divorce in the beginning says that if a man find any uncleanness in his wife, you see what I'm saying? So if he find any uncleanness, let him give her a writ of divorce. Keep going. Watch this.
And he answered and said unto them, have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female?
Now it's going back to the Bereshit, Genesis. Watch this. Hold that just real quick. Okay. Yeshua spoke of Bereshit 2 when it says, we're going to go to 2 and 23, and it says, and Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman. Now, in Hebrew, the word for wife is shah. Is shah. Watch this. I'm going to show you something. It says, and Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of Adam. Okay? Now it says 24, therefore shall a man leave, right? Shall Adam leave his Havah, his father, and his Ami, his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, right? So what happens is when Adam leaves his earthly Ami and Havah, earthly mother and father, he becomes Ishi or Ashe. He becomes a what? A husband, a husbandman. You see what I'm saying? So now it says, let me read it again. It says, and Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. Can you leave your own flesh somewhere?
No.
No, that's impossible. That's impossible. So Christ started to open up the scriptures to them, started to open up the true sayings of the Most High God. You see what I'm saying? It says, and Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Whenever you put Ashe or Ishi, meaning the husbandman, with Asha, they become Ba'ish. You understand? And the Hebrew word for house is Ba'eh. You see that? Christ said that a kingdom divided cannot stand. You see? So we become, whenever we marry our wives, we become what? One kingdom together. You see that? And of course, if we're divided, then people start talking divorce and all that foolishness. But we're going to show. So it says, 25 says, and they were both naked, the man and his wife. You understand? The word wife really just means woman. You understand? It really just means woman, but it's a certain type of woman. You see what I'm saying? When you're a wife, you're a certain type of woman. That is why whenever you are an unmarried woman, you're just woman. You know, you're just you're a woman, but then whenever you're married, you turn into a shah. You understand? You turn into a wife, one that's taken care of. You understand? That's all that means. Whenever you are a woman that's taken care of, that means that you have what? A caretaker. You have one that takes care of you, and that's the husbandman. That's the issue, and you are the isha. Okay. So let's go back. Go back to Matthew 19, and start at start at 3 again, just so we can give them good knowledge. Go ahead.
It says, the Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause?
Right.
And he answered and said unto them, have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female? And said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh.
Right.
Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh.
You see that? So they're no more. They're no more two. You see that? They're no more two, but aleph. They're one. You understand? So just like whenever you have a husband and a wife, whenever you have ishi and ashar that come together as baish, whenever they come in together, that's one person coming in. That's how the Most High see it. Keep going.
Okay. And it says, what therefore the Most High hath joined together,
You see that?
let no man put asunder.
You see that? That's where people mess up. What therefore a higher, read it again.
What therefore the Most High have joined together, let no man put asunder.
What therefore a higher hath joined together, let no man put asunder. What has a higher joined together?
Man and
The man and the woman. You see that? You understand? The marriage, of course, going before a so-called priest or going to a courthouse and getting papers and stuff, all of that is wonderful and good. But the marriage is whenever a higher makes two aleph. Whenever he makes the two, the man and the woman, one, that is the marriage. You understand? Keep going.
And it says, they say unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement, and to put her away?
So now they think, those Pharisees think that they got him now. They said, wait a minute now, hold on. You're speaking against Moshiach, but really he's not. Read it again.
It says, they say unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away?
He said, so then why did Moshiach command to give a writing of divorcement and put her away? You see that? Keep going.
He saith unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts,
Because of the hardness of your hearts,
suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning,
but
it
from the
was not
beginning.
so.
You see that? So Christ just told him. He just taught him. He said, because of the hardness of your hearts. So really, truthfully, the only thing Christ, or not Christ, the only thing that Moshiach really did was he knew, right? By Hashem Yeshaya, he knew by way of the Ruach Kadesh, by the Spirit, right? That those people back then were hard-hearted. You see what I'm saying? He knew that. And so what? The Most High God said we must do everything what? Decently and in order. You see what I'm saying? So instead of the Israelites just straight up and down running a straight muck, right? And making a mockery of marriage itself, you know, Moshiach, because of the Spirit, knew that they weren't going to stay together anyway, because they were what? Hard-hearted. So he gave them a way to at least do it decently and in order. You see that? Read that one more time. Watch this. Listen.
It says, he saith unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts,
because of the hardness of your hearts,
suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so.
But from the beginning it was not so. You see that? Go, keep going.
And I say unto you.
Now, because of what? Hold on. He said, but I say unto you. Notice, let's go back just quickly, just so we can lament something. Let's go to Deuteronomy 18 and 15 says, Ahia that Elohim will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me. Unto him ye shall what? Shama. Hearken. You shall hear him in all things. Go ahead. Now watch this.
And I say unto you.
Yeshua said, and I say unto you. Okay? Yeshua is that prophet that was prophesied in the Torah. The one that we should hearken. Go ahead.
Whosoever
shall
put away his
wife,
except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery.
Now, the way you marry another is you go off and you have sexual relations with another person, another woman, right? The reason why Christ said, except it be for fornication, except it be that your woman have sexual relations with another, is because you cannot be one man married to a man and a woman. You see that? Because whenever a woman goes and has sex with another man, she is now connected to that man. You see that? You understand? Read that one more time. Listen.
It says, and I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication. Okay, it has to be physical, for the physical act of sex. Okay, keep going. And shall marry another, committeth adultery. You see that? Keep going. And whoso marrieth her which is put away doth commit adultery.
So that means this: if someone has a wife, okay, and that wife commits adultery, okay, Christ said that you can divorce that person, you can give them a writ of divorce. But if that woman committed adultery, all right, just like what Christ said, and she was handed a writ of divorce, that wife or that woman can no longer or can never be married again. She cannot be married again to anyone, okay? All she can do is ask for forgiveness, repent, you see what I'm saying, and never be married again. She can never be married again, because if she does, especially understanding and knowing this truth, she's again committing adultery, because truthfully, she's still married to her husband, and we're gonna show that. And number two, the man that she has relations with is committing adultery. You understand? Read that one more time.
And it says, and I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery. And whoso marrieth her which is put away.
So whosoever has sex with the woman that was just put away, keep going,
doth commit adultery.
Okay, now let's go to Romans 7. And we're going to prove that the woman is bound, okay? The woman is bound by the Torah to her husband, okay? And watch this. We're going to show.
Seven.
Start at 1.
Okay. And it says, know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law.
So Shaul, by way of the Ruach HaKodesh, is speaking to those that know the Torah. Okay, keep going.
How that the law hath dominion over a man as long as he liveth.
You see that? So he's speaking about the people that live on this earth. The Torah that was handed down from the Most High to Moshiach, we're under that law until we die. Until we die. Now, this is not saying that we still practice the sacrificial portions of the Torah, because we know that now that we have Christ, we don't have to practice sacrificial law anymore, because he was our one, our great sacrifice. You know, he was our perfect sacrifice. So we don't need to do that anymore. But every other law that was given to us in the Torah, we have to still practice it. You understand? Keep going.
This is 2. For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law.
As a matter of fact, start at one more time. I just want to show one more thing. Go ahead.
Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how that the law hath dominion over a man as long as he liveth.
As long as he liveth. So let me just give a little bit of understanding. So that's saying, like, we can't kill people. You understand? We can't kill people. We can't just do anything. We still have a law over us. If we kill people, then we sin. If we lie, then we sin. If we do certain things that's found in the Torah, if we do aside from those things, then we sin. Why? Because we're under those laws. You see that? Okay, now go to 2.
For the woman which hath an husband.
For the woman which hath an husband. Okay. All right. So this is a woman that hath an husband in the Most High's eyes. Okay. This is not a woman that's remarried 2 or 3 or 4 times. Okay. You understand? Because Christ told the woman at the well, ye have well spoken, for the husband that you have now is not your husband. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband,
right,
so long as he liveth.
You see that? So any woman that hath an husband in the eyes of the Most High, right? She's bound by the law to her husband. Read that one more time.
It says, for the woman which hath an husband,
right,
is bound by the law to her husband.
Is bound by the law to her husband.
So long as he liveth.
So long as he is living and breathing. You understand? So long as he is 6 feet above the earth, living and breathing, you are bound to the law. You understand? Of your husband. Keep reading.
But if the husband be dead.
But if the husband be dead, not spiritually dead, not any other way. It's got to be a physical death. Keep going.
She is loosed from the law of her husband.
She is loosed from the law of her husband. You understand? Keep going.
So then, if while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress. So
then, if while your husband is living and walking around, you have sex with another man, you shall be called an adulteress. It doesn't matter if your husband beats you. It doesn't matter if your husband said he was going to kill you. It doesn't matter. All that don't matter. Now, if your husband said he was going to kill you and all that stuff, then you should leave. You should definitely leave. Because, of course, the scriptures say that the woman should not leave. But if she does, let her remain unmarried. You see what I'm saying? So the Most High God has given revision for things like that, because I know some men are crazy. Some men are crazy. Some men don't believe in the Most High God in Christ. Some men are really crazy. You understand? And so, you know, you would be crazy to stay if you know somebody gonna shoot you in the head. You understand what I'm saying? But the Most High God has given revision, lawful revision for certain situations like that. You understand? Ways that you can still remain holy, right? Read it one more time.
This is 3. So then, if while her husband liveth, she be married to another, right, she shall be called an adulteress.
So this is not saying if your husband is beating you, if your husband, even if your husband cheated on you, right? That does not give you right. That does not give you lawful right to leave your home, to leave your house, and go have sex with somebody else. It doesn't. Because if you do that, then you just did the same thing he did. Read it again. And then we're going to go to 4.
3. So then, if while her husband liveth, she be married to another man,
right,
she shall be called an adulteress.
she shall be called an adulteress. Keep going.
But if her husband be dead,
But if her husband be dead, right,
she is free from that law.
she is free from that law. If your husband is dead, then you are free from that law. You have liberty, right? In that respect, you have liberty. As a woman, you have no liberty whatsoever to ever leave or divorce your husband. Well, to divorce your husband. Like I said before, the scriptures say, and it says, let the woman not depart. But if she does depart, and this is, of course, the revision for if a man is trying to kill you, if a man is trying to, because, especially nowadays, people are crazy. If a man is trying to do anything to you that will harm your life, your children, something like that, then, of course, you should leave. But you have to remain unmarried. You see what I'm saying? All right? Or be reconciled to your husband. Okay? Read.
Should I just read 3 again?
Go to 4. Go to 4.
Okay. Wherefore, my brethren, ye also.
Oh, hold on. Go to
Actually, I was supposed to finish this one.
Yeah. Finish that.
Finish 3. So I'll just read. But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law, so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man.
That's right. So if your husband dies, then you have freedom. Then you can remarry. Okay? Now let's go to Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. I'm going to read a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to go through some laws on marriage that people kind of don't understand. Okay, they use them, but they don't understand them. Okay, they use them out of context. So we're going to show exactly what the Most High was, meant by these precepts. So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 7. It says, now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. So Shaul said it's good for a man not to touch a woman. You understand? Because if a man touch a woman, right, they might want to go a little further. You understand? And so, of course, we have to remain what? Kodash. And if a man touch a woman, it's kind of hard. And when I say touch a woman, I mean taking them out, touching them on their body, things like that. You understand what I'm saying? So it's good that we remain Kodash. It's good that we remain in this word. It's good that we do the things that we have to do. Of course, you can touch your wife if it's your wife, but I mean any other woman. You understand? So if you're married, you shouldn't hug a woman. If you're married, you definitely shouldn't be kissing other women. If you're married, you shouldn't be holding other women's hands. You understand? So what you have to understand is the Most High God calls us to holiness because He knows that we're flesh. He knows that we're flesh, and He's given us perfect precept, perfect holy precept that would keep us in His holiness. If we would just keep to the precept. You understand? The scriptures say that we are commanded to keep His precept, right? It says, now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, watch this. This is where people go crazy. Watch this. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife. Have his what wife?
His own.
His own wife. You see? So that means that you have your first wife. You understand? If your wife, if you're married and your wife has not cheated on you, right? You stay with her. You stay with that woman. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you don't like her anymore. It doesn't matter if she smells funny. It don't matter if she look funny. It don't matter if she can't cook. It don't matter if she can't drive. All that don't matter. If you married her, you got to stay with her. You understand? Mm-hmm. Period. Period. The only time that you can divorce a wife as a man is if she lays with another man, lays carnally with another man. I don't care if you caught them in the midst of the act or right before the act and they didn't do it, you can't leave her. You can't leave her. I don't care if you see a million text messages, if she's showing herself on Facebook, whatever. You understand? You can't leave her unless she actually has physical sex, unless the physical rites of marriage have been performed, meaning that's consummation, that's physical sex, right? So it says, nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. See that? Same goes for the woman. It says, let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence. So you should give unto your wife physically. You understand? Mm-hmm. It says, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. The wife hath not power over her own body, but the husband. And likewise also the husband hath not power of his own body, but the wife. It says, defraud ye not one the other. Okay? Meaning give unto your wife, and wife give unto your husbands. Don't defraud your spouse of the duty of marriage, right? That the Most High God has ordained to be okay, has ordained to be holy. You understand? Because the scriptures say that the bed of marriage is undefiled. It's holy. Okay. It says defraud ye not one the other, except it be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency. And so the thing about it is on the Shabbat you should not consummate, because that's a high day. We're gonna show that. I'm not gonna go into it now, but so yes, you should, as a married couple, you should always render to your spouse. Okay, now it says, but I speak, this is 6, but I speak this by permission and not of commandment. Notice, Shaul said this is by permission, not of commandment. Mm-hmm. So this is no mitzvah, right? Mm-hmm. You understand? It says, but I speak this by permission and not of commandment, for I would that all men were even as I myself. Shaul didn't have a wife. Shaul was what you would call a virgin. You understand? Well, not a virgin. He was what's the word? Help me, Holy Ghost. He was what's the word? Whenever you he was no. Well, yeah. He had made himself a eunuch. I'm thinking of the other word, but I can't think of it right now. But it says, for I would that all men were even as I myself, but every man hath his proper gift of a higher, one after this manner. So some people are like him. And then it says, one after this manner and another after that. So every man has his own gift, right? Mm-hmm. And it says, 8 says, and I say, now watch this. 8 says, I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them that they abide even as I. Okay, so he's saying to the people that's unmarried and to the widows, those that are widows indeed. You know, we have law on widows. Those that are widows indeed, we have laws for that to show if they are widows indeed. So he's saying that he, by permission, not by mitzvah, by permission of the Most High, by way of the Ruach HaKodesh, that they should remain as he is. You understand? Meaning he's not having sex. He's not dealing with women in that way. You understand? Celibate is what I was trying to say. He was celibate, okay? Now, watch this. It says, but, now listen. Notice, 8 says, I say therefore to the unmarried, to those that's not married, meaning they don't have a husband, and the wife and the husbands don't have wives, right? I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. 9 says, but if they cannot contain who? The widows and the unmarried. You listening? Because this is where people go off, okay? It says, but if they cannot contain, let them marry. You see that? For it is better to marry than to burn. People use that all the time. But let me tell you something. If you're already married and you leave your husband, if you're already married and you leave your wife, find another wife or another husband, it's not better to marry because you're already married. You see what I'm saying? People bring that out all the time. Well, it's better to marry than to burn. That's what the scriptures say. Yeah, it is. For the who? Let's read it again. It says, 8 says, I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. But if they cannot contain, meaning if they just got to have a husband, right? If the husband just got to have a wife, it says, but if they cannot contain, let them marry. For it is better to marry than to burn. That is the law, or not really a law, because Shaul said that he spoke that by permission. You understand? But the thing about it is, it does touch on law, because if you're married, you cannot remarry. You understand? Unless you have certain criteria. There has to be certain elements for people to remarry. You understand? So now, watch this. 10 says, and unto the married I command, yet not I, but Ahiah. So now he's going back into Torah. You see? You understand? It says, and unto the married I command, yet not I, but Ahiah, let not the wife depart from her husband. You see that? 11 says, but, and if she depart, so if she leaves, again, going into the revision that Ahiah placed in precept, just in case somebody want to shoot their wife in the head while she sleep, just in case somebody want to poison their wife or something like that, right? It says, but, and if she depart, let me start at 10 again. And unto the married I command, yet not I, but Ahiah, let not the wife depart from her husband. 11 says, but, and if she depart, let her remain unmarried. Do you see that? So if you're a married wife, right? If you're married and you have a husband, and your husband is still living and breathing, walking around this earth, you cannot remarry anyone. Meaning you cannot go have sex with another man. You cannot have a boyfriend. You cannot be on the phone talking and texting back and forth. You can't do that. You understand? It says, I'm going to read 10. And unto the married I command, yet not I, but Ahiah. You see that? Notice in the previous precept, he said that he said this by what? Permission. You see that? 10 says, I command, yet not I, but Ahiah. So this is going into law. It says, and unto the married I command, yet not I, but Ahiah, let not the wife depart from her husband. 11. But, and if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or, watch this, or, so you can do one or the other, or be reconciled to her husband. Did it say get another husband?
No.
No. It said, or be reconciled. Meaning go back and be like, baby, can we work it out? You know what I'm saying? Or if he call and be like, baby, I want to work it out, then y'all should work it out. Y'all should be reconciled to each other. You know what I'm saying? It says, hold on. Y'all stay with me now. Hold on. It says, but and if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband. And now watch this. And let not the husband put away his wife. So the husband, you cannot put away your wife. You cannot put her away. You cannot give her a writ of divorce unless, of course, we read in Matthew 19. Let's go back to it just really quick. I just want to touch on that.
Unless it be for fornication.
Unless it be for fornication. I just want to show. 19, it says, 19:9 says, and I say unto you, whosoever shall, and this is Christ, Matthew 19:9, and I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except, meaning that's the clause, except, right? Except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery, and whosoever marrieth her, which is put away, doth commit adultery. Let me read that one more time. It says, and I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery. And whosoever marrieth her, which is put away, doth commit adultery. We praise the higher. Bahasham Yeshai. Now, so let's go back. We were at 11. It says, this is back in 1 Corinthians 7 and verse 11 says, but and if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. 12 says, but to the rest speak I, right? So now this is him speaking again, not a higher. If any brother hath a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. So this is saying, if you have, if there's a brother, if there's an Israelite and he believe the laws, well, not believe the laws, but believe in Christ and he's doing well and he's keeping the laws, statutes and commandments of the Most High, but his wife is just like, I don't believe that. Don't put her away. Do not put her away. If she be pleased to dwell with you, don't put her away. You understand? If she wants to stay with you, don't put her away. Don't say, well, I want a wife that keeps all the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. That's wonderful. But if you have a wife and she wants to stay with you, whether she keeps the laws, statutes, and commandments or not, you cannot put her away unless she has sex with someone else. And you cannot tell her to have sex with nobody else either. You can't do that either, okay? All right. Let's go to... I might as well finish that out. It says, and the woman which hath an husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. So now, you women, if you believe, if you are Israelites indeed, and you believe on the scriptures, and you believe on Christ, and your husband, your so-called husband, your real husband, doesn't believe on Christ and doesn't believe in keeping the laws or whatever, but he wants to live with you and stay with you, you cannot put him away. You can't leave him. You can't do that, okay? But watch what 14 says. 14 says, for the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now are they holy. Right? But watch what 15 says. But if the unbelieving depart, so now let's pedal back. If the man has a wife, the believing Israelite has a wife, all right? And his wife just leaves. She's like, I don't believe in all that. I'm leaving. Let her go. Okay? Let her go. It says, but if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. A brother or a sister is not under bondage in such cases, but a higher hath called us to peace. You see that? 16 says, for what knowest thou, O wife, whether thou shalt save thy husband, or How knowest thou, O man, whether thou shalt save thy wife? So that's just saying you don't know what the Most High God put you together with that person for. The Most High God might have had you to marry that person just so they could be reconciled back to the Most High in Christ. You see what I'm saying? So stay with them. Stay with your spouse. Now we almost done. We're gonna go to Corinthians. We're gonna stay in Corinthians 7 and just read 39 just real quick.
Okay, and it says, the wife is bound by the law as long as her husband liveth.
Right.
But if her husband be dead, she is at liberty to be married to whom she will, only in the Most High. Only
in the Most High God of Israel. So that means simply through precept we have proven that if you are married, number one, if you're a man, you cannot divorce your wife. You cannot give them a writ of divorce unless they have sex, unless they physically consummate with another man. You cannot leave them. Okay. 2, the woman can't leave, period. Doesn't matter. Don't matter if the man has sex with another person. Don't matter if the man beats you. Don't matter if the man want to kill you. You can't leave them. Well, you can't divorce them, but you can leave them. I'm not saying, and that's something that you would have to pray. You would have to go into prayer and fasting on that. But then, of course, you have to use your own intellect to know. Of course, if a man is trying to kill you, you just leave the house, so you don't die. You understand? But in precept, it says that we, as the followers of the Most High God, we cannot let what the Most High God put together. We can't let any man break it down or put it asunder. We can't do that. We just cannot do that. And anyone that tells you that you can leave your husband because he's doing this and that, that's a lie. That's a lie. It might sound good. It might seem like that's the best thing to do. You understand? It might seem like maybe, you went to your high school reunion and you saw your old flame, or you saw somebody that you went to middle school with for some foolishness like that, and he started talking about the Most High and all that, and you start feeling no. If you're married, you're married. If you're married, you're married. If your husband dies a physical death, then you can be remarried only in the Most High. When the scriptures say only in the Lord, it means only lawfully. You have to strive lawfully. You understand? And everything you do, it has to be done under the what? The Torah. You understand? I'm going to read Romans one more time just to show something. Romans 7:1 says, know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the Torah, how that the Torah hath dominion over a man as long as he liveth. So the Torah has dominion over us as long as we live. It's certain things that we just cannot do as Israelites. You understand? One of them being that we cannot leave our wives, and our wives cannot leave their husbands unless it be certain criteria. You understand? All right. So that's proven. We praise the Most High.